Let's hit this one. Who is the biggest a-hole on the beach? Is it the loud music player, 2-1 odds? Guy with a snake, 4-1 odds? The Speedo dude, 7-1 odds? Frisbee player, 10-1 odds? Or the field, even odds? Megan, ladies first.
All right. Well, just like I said, there's airport etiquette. There is also beach etiquette, and a lot of people don't follow the rules of the beach. And I just love how like everybody knows that these are things and laws of the land. These are things to live by, but people just are oblivious to them. I also have to give an honorable mention to metal detector guy who's out there. Also
a weirdo guy.
Also guy who has the fishing pole set up like right where everybody is walking through.
Oh,
just,
that's good.
You know, to be annoying because he's going to catch a fish and show everybody. He can't go anywhere else to do it. But what drives me the most nuts when you're with people at the beach, like a whole group of people are going to the beach. The people who refuse to go in the water, don't come to the beach with me. If you're at the beach wearing a bathing suit, you're getting in the water. I don't care. That's the rule. And my parents are these type of people because I grew up in Chicago. We don't have real beaches. We have like the lake off Lake Michigan and that crappy beach that's always way too overcrowded. My parents hate water. They won't go in. If they come to the beach, they don't want to go in the water. So I say, I'm not going to the beach with you.
It does seem like a real waste of time. You get that close and you can't even dip your feet in. It's very weird. Oh, we're back to the feet
I don't
again.
trust those people. You have to pee at some point. So you have to go in the water.
Right. There you go. Well, we'll get to that as well on Thursday. But all right, that's a good one. Martin, what do you say?
Loud music player, I don't mind him so much, or mind them so much, I should say, because I feel like that's kind of par for the course. It's kind of like if you're riding the subway, you get mad at that there's other people there, right? It's like, well, it's like that's you're supposed to be at the beach playing music. Guy with the snake is something that I had never encountered before coming to Hollywood, where there's just people just walk around with snakes around their neck. That shit is weird, but also it doesn't bother me so much because I have a good feeling that this snake has to be at least has some level of house training, because otherwise it would have killed the person that is got it around its neck. I can still avoid that guy pretty much. I'm gonna go with field, even though Speedo dude is at 7-1 odds. That's great value because let's be honest. I mean, I'm not Damashek-ian level when it comes to showing skin and so on, but like typically the guy wearing the Speedo really has no business wearing a Speedo. Like it'd be one thing if you're out there built like Michael Phelps. However, most of the time you're built like Daniel Vogelbach. So I don't need to see that.
That's where self-awareness comes in big time. And also it might literally be the biggest asshole on the beach because they present it right there for you. But okay, go ahead. So
I'm going to go with field, and this might ruffle some feathers. People who bring their dogs. I do not like your dog because it's like I'm carrying stuff. I can't get away from your dog if I need to. Plus we're in sand. And then your dog just runs up to me and all of a sudden, because I got something that smells good. Oh, don't worry, he's friendly. It was like, well, I've never met him. So can you get your dog out of my shit, please? So it's that, and it's more so, it's not necessarily the dogs, it's more so the dog owners that think because they have a dog, everybody else wants to interact with their super cool dog. Like, that's just not the case. Like, I'm fine with you having a dog, but you can keep it at your house. And while we're at it, off the airplane.
Off the airplane.
You're pushing my buttons. No one wants to hear about my travel except you, and you keep trying to like poke the bear here because I'm like very close to just going off. I will refrain.
It's a plane, if not a zoo. It's a plane, not a zoo.
I will refrain. I'm with you on the dogs. Keep them off the plane and babies. Keep them off.
Well, yeah, that's interesting. But Megan, is the guy with the snake? Is it a sexy thing for women? Like, is this appealing? Like, that's what we heard growing up. Like,
this reminds me of like the guy in middle school that would just be like, "Yeah, today we have an assembly with Snake Dude." It's just like, why are we doing this in public school in America? We're just gonna have kids, pet this snake with this weird reptile man. It's so bizarre. How did this man get invited into a school with children?
Yeah,
it's the same guy. He just hasn't grown out of it, and he comes to keep your kids away from him. That's what
by the way, no guarantee, Martin, that it's not a venomous beast there. When you're on Venice Beach with some mentally unstable people, you don't ever really know.
I just feel like if the snake is over there, he's got more people to get through than it does to he's already wrapped around somebody else's neck. So I just feel like if he was really in a murderous rage, he might just get the guy who was closest to him.
Right. All
I've,
right.
I've wondered before why, just as you can, like a rattlesnake, you can take the venom out of it so that it can live among people and not kill you. How do they teach boa constrictors not to crush you? Like, why don't we ever hear stories of the python just choking out its owner around its neck? Like, the party was fun until Caden got choked to death by his snake.
I'd like to see that. Except Caden's a 7-year-old, right? There's nobody.
Yeah, right. There's no grown up. That was
that's
Brent,
a new name.
Brent.
Brent's a relatively new name too.
Yeah. Brent,
No, I don't know about that.
Steven. We can go with Steven.
Okay.
I don't know,
Yeah.
Dave. Maybe you need to do your own research. It might be out there. You don't know.
Miley. I don't know. All right, Check. What are you going with? Biggest a-hole on the beach.
Well, I'll try to not make this a 3-hour monologue, but good luck.
Good luck
I
to
can't
you.
promise you I
Good
won't.
luck to
No,
all of us.
Check's watch.
Yeah.
I will. I guess the best one to go with here is God, because who else is responsible for putting all that sand everywhere? It gets into every crevice of you, and you bring it home, and you'll find it weeks, nay months, nay years later at the bottom of bags and otherwise.
Right.
Plus, creating this sense of like, human beings decided, let's have nude beaches. That sounds great, right? We all like, most everybody, whatever your personal taste is, we all like human flesh, except when you actually see what it looks like. 97% of the human population has no business walking around nude or even close to nude, and yet you're required to wear your least amount of clothing at best at there. Fat. It's a big canard that we've been sold about the human body. I don't want to see it. I only want to see like 3% of what's available among human bodies.
So it's God.
I'm gonna go with God. I'm gonna go with God on that one.
Wow.
Also-
God is taking a beat. God needs a new publicist. God's really taking a beating these last few weeks.
And with
but
these
interesting.
sunburns, like we do our best. We try to meet you halfway, God. We put the sprays on ourselves and the children and everything, and invariably like, look, that little triangle spot at the bottom of your right side of your back, boy, it's torched, it's bright red. Like, what the hell, God? You couldn't give me a pass on this one? That stinks. And
whatever
then the
Jesus
allies.
was using,
What the
whatever
hell,
SPF
God?
Jesus was using is kind of perfect. You never really see a picture of him with the blotchy
Yeah,
sun.
Jesus never had a sunburn.
Yeah, you're right.
Well, because he had that big dress on. Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. Big flowing.
And he was in a desert, so that's
How
impressive.
did he do
That was
it?
really, but that dress that he wore is really breathable, I guess. Really,
Right.
you can
I
see
don't know.
the.
I've worn something similar when I went over there. It is very, very, very breathable, and it's
Do you wear
I have it still in my
underpants?
closet. Yes, underpants, nothing else.
Interesting.
Maybe like a A shirt, as they call them these days.
So, Shaq, you basically go to the beach and just body shame. You're like, look at these disgusting animals. What the fuck are they wearing?
Yeah,
Yes,
it sounds like it's
yes.
not an enjoyable experience for you at all.
Well, as I say, I think the offset of the actual Pacific Ocean, the relationship that the Pacific and I have together is a personal and spiritual one, and
Gotcha.
I am able to, when I take that dive, literal and figurative, away from the earth and into the sea, it washes off all other concerns for me. Then I come
see. What
back
if
out
you're
and
at a nude
I get
beach
upset
then?
again. Then I get upset again. Well, I wouldn't. I have had my experience at a nude beach, and I can't imagine the sequence of events that would take me back to another one.
Are
after
you a
seeing
shirt-
what I saw?
Are you a shirt guy at the beach, shirt guy at the pool?
I like very much the those ones that whisk away sweat and H2O, because they make it so you don't have to do all the sprays and get one of those burns on your back somewhere that you otherwise wouldn't reach.
Yeah, but then you end up with a really weird tan. Like, I'm coming off of like 3 months of Little League baseball tournaments
Yeah, I
all
got
over, and I have the weirdest tan in the world. I'm like, I got to put an end to this. I live 5 blocks from the beach, and but yeah, don't you want a nice even something going out? No?
Yeah, I mean, I'm basically hard to please, Megan, at the end of the day.
You don't say.
I'm resentful of the people showing all that flesh, but then I also resent all the people that are so vain that they've covered themselves up. Like, nobody gives that big a good goddamn except for me. Ironically, I'm the one who resents you. And then if you had gone the other way too far, like, fashion is about, correct me if I'm wrong, Megan, it's no, in my opinion, it's as much knowing what you shouldn't wear as what you should wear. right? Like just because you see, here's a good one, like Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp for fellas, he was considered super handsome. He can get away with the scarves and everything else. Don't you do it. It would look very different if Sal started to be like, I'm going to dress like Johnny Depp. Why is it okay for him? Because he's handsome and can get away with that. Sal.
What?
Well, you and me. I'm going to put myself in that same group.
Better.
You and me should not walk around dressed like some cool guys.
Cam Newton. A lot of people couldn't pull off the Cam Newton style except for Cam Newton.
Not even Cam Newton.
I honestly don't think that Cam Newton pulls off Cam Newton style.
All right,
Dave, when you go to the Dave, I just am envisioning Dave going.
Sal has to make his pick.
Look, I know, I'm sorry, but I just have this vision of Dave going to the beach dressed like he's going to the gym, wearing the exact same thing.
Talking, please just walk to the beach, take notes, and come back, and then let us know what bothers you.
I'll probably have a different answer. Yeah.
My own wife makes fun of me. She's like, I know you use that as an excuse to not get sunburned, but it's because you're embarrassed about your body. And I'm like, listen, I'm not proud of my body.
Listen, I'm sure
everybody else there's running around mostly nude too. What am I going to stay? Everybody's going to point at me and be like, hey, look at that slob. Like there are way bigger slobs and more disgusting forms out there than anybody worrying about what I look like. It's not about that. It really isn't.
Maybe there's a happy medium. If you have 3 or 4 snakes that you take with you to the beach, most of your torso is covered and you don't have to worry about anyone seeing your flesh or getting sunburned or anything like that. So I don't know. It's something to look into. I'm going to say, well, I had a couple answers. Seagulls are big a-holes, and not just the birds. Wayne and Teddy Siegel, who I grew up with. They take your legs out with the towel. They do the big thing. People who sit too close to you for no reason.
Yes.
They're like close talkers, except every time they move, the sand kicks up in your face. But, Megan, you hit on it earlier briefly, the metal detector guy. You haven't made $35 in your life off of this hobby or whatever it is. I hope it's a hobby and not their way of life. And this is not an a-hole in that they're mean to me, but an a-hole in that you're wasting your time, you're wasting your life. You know how I know? Because you're the only a-hole doing this. There are not 15 metal detector dudes out there scrambling for old Indian coins. If there was valuable shit in the sand, you wouldn't be the only one looking for it. You have a collection of bottle caps and condom wrappers and melanoma to show for it. Go get a real job, Indiana Jones Beach. That's a regional joke.
You know what else, Sal? You're kind of an asshole, too, because, like you said, there's nothing valuable out there unless somebody lost something that's valuable, and then you probably see the person like, oh, my God, I can't find my wedding ring.
Exactly.
So it's like, do you just, like, pretend that you have it? Or
Yeah. All right, Scott.
Well, I gotta say, you touched on something too that I was gonna get, but I got consumed by complaining about the other stuff. Is I feel bad for, but I'm also resentful of the giant elaborate sandcastle grown up man. The guy who's out there shaking.
The coolest dad.
Then they put the lights on. No, I mean, listen, I'm a pain in the ass. I've gotten to be. That's one of those like, oh no, I've turned into one of those weird fathers where I'm like. To my own kids, like Jean-Claude Van Damme, if you want that castle to sustain itself, you have to shave the edge, and the sand has to be wet, but not that. And then I think, like, what the hell kind of jackass am I? But the guy who does it and spends the whole day out there, and he like makes a big one of Jesus Christ coming down from the clouds or whatever they design, and then they etch into it as though it has some value. This is in memory of Josiah. Like, what the hell are you doing? It's going to get washed away by tomorrow. Like, paintings, songs, other art forms, we keep them. Your sandcastle is stupid. What a waste of goddamn time. Yeah.
I'm with you.
My one thing I have to say about this metal detector guy, it seems that there's one at every beach.
That's what I'm saying. There should be a bunch if it was worthwhile, right?
Do they have like a community? Like this is your area.
You got like a medallion.
This is your region. Yeah,
right,
I wonder. And then maybe we could, do like a little morning walk with them and figure out what got them into this, because there's always one.
Yeah. I'd like to know. And look, I'm sure someone found some kind of dumb treasure. But again, to Martin's credit, it's the point. It's not theirs. So you're finding someone else's shit. All right, Scott, who's the biggest a-hole on the beach?
Well, Twitter will tell you that the biggest a-hole is Loud Music Guy. And we've seen him dragging his wagon, and he usually has a dog as well in California. But I'm with you guys. It's Metal Detector Guy. And I'm going to go one step further. The guy's always at the volleyball courts. So he's not like looking for Civil War relics. He's looking for literally the wedding ring you lost yesterday, and he's not going to help you find it. He's the worst a-hole.
Right. He should be in jail. He should be
until Dave shows up wearing 3 shirts like a 1920s sunbather and.
Look, Buster, it's refreshing as all get out. The ocean, you see. Also, by the way, you mentioned the wagon guy. One more to throw in. Kids. They make it much more laborious. The whole thing is such a pain in the ass.
You can't go to the
because
beach. You got to stay away from the beach. You need an ocean in your backyard.
Get them. Oh, do they have their change of clothes? Like, well, gotta do that. Where are they going to change? Are they going to change in the car? Are they going to put them in the back of the SUV? Oh, you can open both doors. Like, well, make sure they're. Oh, they got out of the ocean. Oh, lotion them again. And what are they going to eat? Do we have a drink for? We got a juice box. How are we going to? It makes it so much bigger a pain in the ass.